I mean, to be fair, Big Black's version of the model slays.
Yeah, and to be fair, it also doesn't sound anything like a Kraftwerk song.
No, I think the model like a Big Black song.
Yeah, the furthest. Actually, it's so strange because I think the Man Machine, that record, is the closest to like a pop record that they made.
Mm-hmm.
Like people know the robots and they know the model and they know Neon Lights. Like all of those are almost pop songs, even though, I mean, they're between 6 and 9 minutes long.
Right.
So not real pop songs, but they're poppy. I mean,
right.
Compared to the other stuff. And so that record always is like, to me, I don't know. It's really good, of course, but I don't know. I don't really like being able to sing along with Kraftwerk. I more would rather just have information being fed to me by robot voice.
Welcome to Accelerativ Thrust. I'm Dan.
And I'm Eric.
And today we're going to review records.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine that?
Big time.
Yeah. And we're also going to talk about bullshit.
About bullshit? Or are we just going to bullshit?
Well, we're going to do both. We're going to talk about bullshit.
All right.
And then we're also going to bullshit. How's that sound?
That sounds great.
Awesome. It is November 1st. Although when you hear this, it's not going to be November 1st. It's going to be November
still be
3rd.
After Halloween, which means life's kind of pointless for about another year.
You know what that means? That means tomorrow's election day.
Yeah.
So vote for me if you guys want. Just there's a blank space where you can put like candidates that aren't on the ballot, you know.
Oh, I thought you said erection day. I had no idea what you were talking about.
Well,
I was like, wait, I can write Dan's name on it?
An erection ballot. They actually give out erection ballots.
They do.
Wow. That's crazy.
Vote no.
That's insane.
Vote no on Boner.
I would say leave my name out of it if that's the case. But yeah.
Oh gosh.
So before we see, there's the bullshit right there.
That's some grade A prime US bullshit.
Medium rare. So before we get going on more bullshit, I just want to remind all of you that you can find us to listen to on Transistor, Content Made Right, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and YouTube. And at some point, I think we're going to be on Apple.
Yeah.
Do you know if that's happened yet?
They still haven't approved us.
Okay. The fruit doesn't like us. The fruit company hates us.
Yeah. I think it's because we cuss too much. No.
Oh, is that it?
No. I don't think
Apple,
so.
Because Apple censors everything that is vulgar, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else do we got? Oh, yeah. We got Instagram and Facebook pages. How about that? Now, if you would like to comment or send us a message on any of our posts, you can send suggestions for reviews, bands to cover, interviews, upcoming local shows. And of course, by local shows, I mean Iowa, Illinois, stuff we do wrong or stuff we do right, or just bullshit. You can send us bullshit if you'd like, because we like bullshit.
You could ask us to review bullshit, cover some local bullshit, your bullshit.
Yeah.
Really pretty much anything in the Quad City, Eastern Iowa mostly, but all of Iowa, any bullshit.
Yes.
Just let us know.
Let us know. And speaking of which, though, we are going to be having a hair metal episode coming up. Just to let everyone know, episode 50, the 50th episode of the Accelerativ Thrust. And if you guys want us to review a certain hair metal album, let us know, man. Otherwise, we're just going to pick them ourselves.
Yeah.
And you guys will be stuck with that.
Yeah. And if you
How about that?
Yeah. Jeez, nice threat, bro. And then you'll be fucking sorry.
You guys. Oh man.
But yeah, if you have like a favorite hair metal group, or mid 80s hard rock, I guess we're probably talking about too. So if you have a place in your heart for some hair metal band, let us know, and we'll talk about it and listen to it. So
that sounds fantastic. All right, so now on to some news. So check this out: cocaine hippos.
Wait, what'd you call me? Don't call our listeners that. God,
you cocaine hippos. Now, I almost feel like I don't even have to follow anything up. I could just leave it at that. But I don't know. I kind of feel obligated now.
I mean, I'm curious. It could be the cocaine talking, hippos. But
it could very well be. Owned by Pablo Escobar, are legally recognized as people. So, according to reports, the U.S. District Court in the Southern District of Ohio has legally recognized the cocaine hippos once owned by Pablo Escobar. They were reportedly brought to Colombia for a private zoo he once had in the 1980s, and there were allegedly 4 hippos at the time. The animals in Escobar's private zoo were taken to zoos where they could be taken care of following his death in 93. But the 4 hippos remained in Colombia because they were too heavy to be transported. And yeah, so now they're legally recognized as people.
What does that mean, though?
Hold on, let me see
that they look like
can
people?
read this even further. Yeah, because they walk and everything and
on their hind legs,
all this stuff.
Do massive amounts of blow.
Yeah. You know what I think would be funnier is if it was cocaine hippies.
I don't know.
Maybe that's what they meant. Maybe it was. You know what? Maybe that was a mess up on their part on the article.
Typo.
Maybe they meant cocaine hippies. Yeah, so that's why they're being recognized as people, because they're actually. Yeah,
we're finally recognizing hippies as people. I'm not into it.
A legal case related to the hippos found Colombia suggesting that the hippos be killed, which are referred to as a cull, C-U-L-L. I have no idea what that means. However, a ruling was made saying the remaining hippos be considered as people. This means Pablo Escobar's cocaine hippos would be the first non-humans to be legally considered humans. Yeah. There might be words, but I have none. I can't think of it.
So listeners, our cocaine hippos, do your own research on this story.
Yes, do your own research. Exactly. This is one of those things where you should do your own research.
Yeah.
That's just interesting. Moving on. A woman claims strawberry Pop-Tarts does not have enough strawberries and sues them for $5 million.
Wow.
So if that's the case, why not sue them for the whole goddamn flavor? Like all the flavors. I don't know how many flavors there really are, but certainly if there's not enough strawberry in the strawberry Pop-Tarts, there's got to be not enough apple or cinnamon in the apple cinnamon ones, or blueberries in the blueberry ones.
I did do a little research on this one after you sent it to me earlier.
Oh, okay.
And what she's actually saying is, like the blueberry Pop-Tarts, it's so hard for me not to say pop farts, by the way, because anytime I actually say it in real life, I say pop farts because I think hilarious. It's funny. Yeah. So anyway, the blueberry ones say naturally and artificially flavored, or natural and artificial ingredients and stuff like that. But apparently the strawberry ones didn't, and that was a problem. And most of the fruit in it is actually pears and grapes and apples and stuff like that. There's hardly any strawberries in it.
Oh, really? Okay, but I did not know that.
Here's my issue. you're eating fucking Pop-Tarts, man.
Yeah. What, like
how
do you really care?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How interested in what's in it are you? Seriously. You can't be that interested.
I mean, yeah.
If you read the ingredients and your takeaway is there's just not enough strawberries in this. Like, that's insane. Because
that is insane. Yeah.
They are actually made of trash. Like, first ingredients is trash.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's literally like
natural
trash. Yeah. Yeah.
But also
naturally and artificially flavored trash.
Where did $5 million come from? How can that be the ask?
Yeah, like, I don't know.
I'm pretty frustrated about there's not enough strawberries. That equals $5 million. No, isn't it just a minor annoyance?
Yeah.
Did they have a reverse allergy to strawberries? Like, were they trying to commit strawberry suicide and it didn't work? You know? And so
strawberry suicide.
They quit their job, sold their car, left their family, and they were all gonna do it, and then it didn't work out. Is that, I mean, how could you sue someone for that?
These are all valid questions. You know what I would do if I was the Pop-Tarts company? I would just give her $20. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, here, like, this is what we do.
Some strawberries.
Pop-Tarts. Yeah. Go buy some strawberries. Make your own Pop-Tarts. I do got to say, though, in the junk food, hierarchy, or whatever you want to call it, I would have to say hierarchy.
That's what I call it. King of Pop-Tart.
Junk food hierarchy. I would say that Pop-Tarts rank up there, like, of stuff that I don't eat, but that I do miss. Yeah, like, you know, being like careless.
Yeah.
I mean, Pop-Tarts were damn good, especially those brown sugar cinnamon ones.
That's my favorite one. Brown sugar.
That,
you know, I used to put butter on them too.
Yeah.
Just because there wasn't
delicious
fat in it.
Well, I think there's a lawsuit coming on.
Yeah. I had to add my own goddamn butter to these things.
Not enough fat.
Yeah.
Like, and
how much is that worth? I don't know. $5 million, probably. That seems to be the going rate for Pop-Tart disappointment.
Yeah, Pop-Tart disappointment. So there's strawberry suicide and Pop-Tart disappointment. I love it. That's our takeaway. But here's the thing, though.
Mm-hmm.
Pop-Tarts kind of have like this crust that sort of is biscuity.
Yeah.
Maybe like a limp biscuit.
God. Yeah, welcome to the Limp Bizkit Kanye West bullshit show.
Yes,
that's all we talk about.
Kanye West bullshit show. Exactly, that's it. So Limp Bizkit dropped an album yesterday on Halloween. And what do we think about that? What do we think about that, Eric?
I have no idea.
I don't either, but it's there. It's called Limp Bizkit Still Suck. Actually, okay. This is something. The headline of the article says Limp Bizkit releases a new album called Everything Sucks, which was a Descendants album in '96. But then in the article it says
sweet, real
that it's called
song.
Oh, is it really? I didn't know it was a Real Big Fish song. But then it says in the article it's called Still Sucks.
Yeah, I saw that too.
So it's either Everything Sucks or it Still Sucks. So
I'm gonna go with Everything Still Sucks. Just combine them.
Yeah, there you go. That's what they should do at this point, honestly. But that is that's not as non-interesting as Marilyn Manson leading a prayer circle with Kanye West and Justin Bieber in a white suit.
I saw
they held a special Sunday service. Yeah, they're wearing like special like white suits.
I feel like they're figuring out the only way to rebel is to be a really devout, almost cult level Christian. That's the only way to be edgy.
That's what it seems like
right now.
That's what it seems like. It's what in the world? So basically we now know that Kanye West, Marilyn Manson, and Justin Bieber, I'm sorry, regardless of what you think about their music, are just freaking just at this point people who I really want nothing to do with. You know what I mean? Like, and not that I've ever hung out with any of them, but you know what I'm saying? Like they all just
say it the way it is. They're a bunch of dang Goonie birds.
Goonie birds. Oh, I love the Goonies though. That's such a great movie. I don't know if I want to associate a movie, one of my favorite movies from childhood, with any of these people. I mean, Goonie Birds is okay. Yeah.
We could
It's
call
good,
Pablo Escobar's cocaine hippos.
Cocaine hippos. Yeah. Cocaine hippies. They're cocaine hippies.
Oh, they might be.
That's what they are.
That's why they were wearing white robes. So
white robes.
All the coke all over them.
Anyway,
I can't spend any more of my life trying to figure out what's going on with Marilyn Manson or Kanye West.
I can't spend any more of my life figuring out what's going on with anything, but that's definitely at the top of the list. I mean, that's up there, including Limp Bizkit putting out a new album. What's up with that?
I don't know. I've never heard their other records, so
yeah,
I don't know if it'll be different or better or worse.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Eric, I mean, yeah, if you weren't into Limp Bizkit in '98 when you weren't 16 at that time. But I was 16 at that time. Mm-hmm. And I think if you weren't into Limp Bizkit around that time, maybe you wouldn't get, I guess maybe in your 40s, you could get into Limp Bizkit. It would be interesting.
I don't know. I could get into chain wallets too. I don't know.
Chain wallets. What about Janko jeans?
I feel like the big pants phase sort of sucked for bigger people. Like people, my friends would be like, I went to Farm and Fleet and I got these jeans and they're size 42s. And I'm like, well, I wear size 42.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
And I was like, and they don't fit cool like your pants do. But
it's like, that's interesting because I had to get a size 50. Dick.
Yeah. No,
not you, Eric.
I was like, oh man,
not you. No, I was talking about. I was responding to your.
I see. Yeah, but yeah.
Friend.
So
you're imagining that bought a 42. Yeah. No. Because you and I both.
It was an imaginary friend though, which is the weirdest part. My imaginary friend was really cool in high school.
Sure, yeah, imaginary friends.
My real friends liked him better than me. He would get invited to parties and he was a really good skater. And he did really well in school. Somehow had a lot of money and was popular.
He didn't share any with you?
No, he was like kind of mean to me. Mm-hmm. But when I moved away to college, he stayed. So he still lives at my parents' house. So he's,
Still, you go by and say hi to him once in a while?
Yeah, when I visit. I mean, I don't know.
It sounds good. Sounds really good, Eric. Sounds like a fun time. How about we go to the reviews at this point?
Oh yeah, that sounds perfect.
Does that sound good? All right. Yeah. Let's go into let's see. You're first up, right, Eric?
Yeah. So after Halloween comes and goes, I get a little down. I like Halloween. Yeah, the world is on my level for, a month and a half, skeletons everywhere, horror movies, blah, blah, blah. And then afterwards, I get a little down because I'm like, great. Now we just have Christmas to look forward to. So now it's a return to, sad, depressing music, on my part anyway. So I hope you enjoyed the summer and the super fun picks that I made during that time, because it's all going to collapse now. The name of this band is Eremit. The name of the record is Bearer of Many Names. Came out this year, 2021. I don't know where I saw it. One of my very metal friends on Instagram posted it. It might have been Nightmare Imagery or Grim Tooth's Very Metal Things, or my friend Ben's page. Brain Smasher is his name on there. And it looked cool, and I listened to a couple seconds of it and I was like, oh yeah, this is rad. And I sent it off to Dan, and then I listened to it. It is excruciatingly slow. Like, this is an hour long and there's 3 songs. So that should give you an idea of how long the songs are. With that being said, I wouldn't say this falls into any single category. And I would say that they blend a lot of different styles really well together. And when you have 20 to 30 minutes per song, you have some space to do that. but it's not like it's just cut and dry. Here's the black metal part, or here's the death metal part, or here's the stoner metal part. Like they really mix everything together really well. But yeah, so it's sort of a, I don't know, blackened death, stoner doom kind of thing. There's a lot going on. I would say for me, the doom element of it is what courses through the entire thing. But that fuzzy stoner sludge is really prevalent too, especially in the guitar tones and the bass tones. The distortions remind me a lot of a seethe. That like it's almost like a clipping bias sort of fuzz. Like it's that fuzzy. It sounds like an amplifier slowly burning up for the guitar tone. Everything else is really cool. The drums go a lot of different places. Very straight stoner stuff, but then also some pretty fast stuff at times. Marching beats come in. I don't know. A lot of different things happen. But yeah, throughout the songs, there's a lot of changes in the tone of the song, the atmosphere of the song, the musical styles, and the vocal styles. There's a lot of like a black metal screech sort of thing, but then very guttural death metal vocals at times too. I would say that if you're into any of that kind of stuff, especially like Sleep, really it came off to me sort of like Sleep and Connate got together, or like I Hate God and like Sun O got together, you know, like just really heavy and slow, but also pretty atmospheric and kind of storytelling-ish, pretty immersive, if that makes any sense. With all of the records that we're going to review today, they're all sort of out of my wheelhouse a little bit. And so I don't have a lot to compare this to, but yeah, it's like just right there. It's all those things mixed and smashed into one long, heavy, brutal ass thing. And I really enjoyed it. But give yourself some time, you know, this isn't something to get ready for work to, you know, you're not going to listen to this before going out on Friday night. No, like give yourself some time, read to it. I don't know, watch your screensaver to it. I have no idea, but give yourself some mental space to spend time in this record. Yeah. What'd you think, Dan?
Yeah, that's exactly everything you just said, including most notably what you just said at the end there, to give yourself some mental space to really kind of absorb this record and what exactly is going on. I think for any record that's like this, when 3 tracks, the first track is 29 minutes long. I mean, that's longer than some albums. Mm-hmm. And then the other, I think the last 2 are both like 18 minutes. Mm-hmm. And so that equals almost an hour of music within these 3 songs. And yes, it's something that definitely takes some time to get into, but like you said, Eric, it's definitely not completely definitive in terms of genre. There is a lot of stuff going on, although I do think that it would be placed in basically the stoner metal or doom metal, maybe atmospheric metal sort of category. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's really an interesting listen. I mean, it starts off with ambient sounds for probably, I don't know, 5 minutes or something like that. It almost reminds me of like what dungeon. What's that?
A while. Yeah.
Yeah. A while. Almost reminds me of dungeon synth a little bit or something, but kind of almost reminds me of that before just going almost full on black metal for, I don't know, a couple minutes, maybe longer than that. I don't even remember, but I just remember thinking, okay, so maybe this is going to be a black metal record. And then, like you said, it slowed down to like, it was probably the slowest transition I've ever heard. Like the most extreme example of a transition from fast to slow I've ever heard. Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, it's just like grinding and riffy. And it really puts me in mind of, it's just heavy as hell. Really puts me in mind of like Electric Wizard or Neurosis at times.
Sure.
The black metal parts, I would say something like Dark Throne, maybe, but definitely like Neurosis, especially because most of the vocals are, as you said, the screechy sort of black metal high pitched vocals. But then I don't know if it's the same vocalist. I'm assuming it's a different vocalist that comes in with the guttural deep.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I know they're a quartet, so
it's very possible.
Yeah, it might be the same person. So
that transition between those two voices, really, that's what really brings out the Neurosis comparison.
It's really terrifying in a way.
Like extremely.
It's like 16 minutes into the first track, and like they just drop into this death metal vocal, and it's really effective.
It kind of comes off, and I feel like the only other band that I've heard ever kind of do that in that way is Neurosis. Like I remember particularly on the song Locust Star. I don't know if you're familiar with Neurosis at all, but that's what this really reminded me of. If you like Electric Wizard, Neurosis, if you like you said, Kanate, I can definitely hear that. I can definitely hear the Sleep in the Sun for sure. If you like all of that stuff and maybe just a touch of black metal, like Dark Throne, or even something like the more atmospheric black metal, like Wolves in the Throne Room or something like that, I think you'll love this record. And I will say that, like you just said, Eric, this is definitely sort of out of my wheelhouse as well. That being said, though, I really enjoyed listening to it. It just was a very, very tough listen to get through. And it's not something like this is not supposed to be easy to listen to. I mean, come on.
Well, yeah, it's kind of one of those things where it's like the harder you try to listen to it, the less you're probably going to like it.
Exactly.
The more you just let it wash over you and you immerse yourself in it, the more of an enjoyable experience it'll be, I think.
Exactly. The riffs are absolutely incredible. And the parts that are like really ambient are really gorgeous. Like when it kind of goes away from like the distortion and stuff, like the intro, the first like 5 or 6 minutes is absolutely incredible. I thought it was going to be a Dungeon Synth record. Like I first heard it, that's what I thought it was going to be, but it definitely turned out to be many more things, more things
for sure.
So that brings me to my pick, which is from this group called Wheelchair Sports Camp. Now I kind of confused Eric because I actually changed my pick. Originally, I was going to have him listen to their Alice in Wonderland original theater soundtrack. I just kind of think that this record, which is called No Big Deal, is a better introduction to Wheelchair Sports Camp because it's super cool. The Alice in Wonderland thing is super cool, but this is kind of like one of their, I guess, straight up records that you can say, like, this is their, as far as I know, I think this is their only full length, but I do believe they may have a lot of mixtapes and stuff like that on Bandcamp. But anyway, what Wheelchair Sports Camp is, it's a primarily a rap group who were signed to Sage Francis's label. It actually was kind of a subsidiary of his label, Strange Famous. And it was a digital label called SF Digi. So it's Strange Famous Digital. The group features the wheelchair bound rapper Kayleen, as well as Joshua Trinidad and on trumpet, and then Greg Ziemba, I could be saying that wrong, on drums. Kayleen also produces the beats. And when they play live, they include live instrumentation over top of the beats. And I actually saw them live and actually met Kayleen and both Josh and Greg. If that was them, I actually don't know if they might have had different musicians on that tour, but I actually saw them in Iowa City a couple of years ago. They played a show, and I don't even remember what the name of the place was. It was some bar in Iowa City that I don't think they normally have shows at. But anyway, I can tell you that it was one of the most inspirational things I've ever seen. It was a fantastic live performance. Having worked with people who have disabilities, and obviously in society, I think it's getting better in a lot of ways, but kind of using that as a way to discourage people who have disabilities from following their dreams. It was super great and inspiring to see somebody like Kaylin just totally knocking down all barriers and just doing it, touring in a hip hop group and being a rapper. And that was just absolutely fantastic. But besides all of that, the music is just great, in my opinion. I think it's really fun. There's a jazzy element to it. You can definitely hear the sort of R&B influence for sure. I think Kaylin, I think they just wear that on their sleeve, actually. It's just, I think it's one of the most sincere things I've ever heard. Kaylin always kind of touches on her condition in the lyrics, but in a way where I feel like she makes it very clear to the listener that she's not going to let that stop her from doing anything. And that's just absolutely fantastic. It really reminds me of kind of like old school rap, but also very updated. And I don't know if I've actually really heard this approach to hip hop done this way before. I mean, you could say like, okay, the Roots, they're like a full band, but I feel like they have a little bit more of a conventional approach to hip hop, although they've done some things that are really out of left field as well. I feel like there's a kind of maybe a lot going on here that's not just limited to hip hop, like musically when you hear the instrumentation. But at the heart of it, I think it is totally a rap record. And when I talked to Kaylin, me and my friend Travis were at this show. When we talked to her, we asked her, because we were just curious who her favorite rapper was or who inspired her to rap. And this totally makes sense to me. I'll tell you this right off the bat. She said her favorite rapper was Left Eye from TLC.
Yeah.
And
that does
to me,
sense.
that totally makes a lot of sense. I would say that if you're a fan of TLC, particularly the parts where Left Eye raps, I would also say the Roots, and I would also say some things like maybe Tribe, De La, Outkast, stuff like that. I think that you will definitely find something that you enjoy here. I will say Kaylin's voice is definitely not typical of rappers, but I love that because that just, to me, that just breaks down barriers even more. Because again, I don't know what her experience was in getting involved in rap or anything like that, but I could totally see some people trying to discourage her, like, oh, you don't sound like a rapper. You know what I mean? And I just think it's totally awesome that this project exists. So yeah, what did you think, Eric?
Yeah, I really liked it. And I didn't actually look into the band themselves until today, even though I had listened to this last week. And so everything about the band that I learned is really cool. But I didn't really think about that when I was like figuring out what I wanted to say about it. So it's interesting to come back to it and sort of reevaluate it, knowing the whole story and everything.
Right.
So at first, like, and I'm not saying this to be mean, I'm just kind of giving listeners a heads up. It sort of reminded me of like MC Chris, because I thought that the voice was pitch shifted. I really did. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I've heard other people sound like that when they rap, And so that's what I figured was happening. So it was really cool to find out that that isn't what's happening, that this is this person's real voice. And it's because they're diminutive. They're just over 3 feet tall. So
Yeah.
it makes sense that this would be the voice that comes out of them. And it's a really just strong voice the whole way through, which is why I didn't think anything of it. And that's pretty awesome. But yeah, as far as musically, I had a lot of fun listening to it. It was really funny. Lyrically, I like the attitude. It's like, and even before I knew the story, I could tell that this was a person that didn't really think of things as punching up or punching down or feeling sorry for themselves, even though there was something happening that other people were sort of trying to make them feel limited about, you know, and all that came through. I guess I did assume that the singer was in a wheelchair because the cover art had that.
Sure.
But yeah, so it's really fun, really interesting musically. The one thing that really came across to me was the combination of live music and samples and the construction in a digital way. Like you can tell some things are recorded live and like a take, like they said, okay, you have to play a trumpet solo or something. But a lot of stuff is chopped up. Even live instruments are sampled and chopped up. And what I came away from it with mostly was that this reminded me of New Orleans bounce. Like there's a lot of upright bass. Whoever played the upright bass is killer on it. But it's like basically brass band instrumentation. And so that it's funny because I think they're from Denver.
Yeah, they are from Denver. I forgot to include that.
But if someone would have said this is New Orleans bounce, I would have been like, well, yeah, obviously it is. So I would say if you're into any of the New Orleans bounce stuff, Big Frida, or even like the jazzier side of it, like Trombone Shorty and things like that, I think that comes through in the music a lot. So I think that's a really cool thing. It is old school with just the construction of things, the delivery, the rapping style. I really loved the Boys in the Hood nod in the song Scooter Pack. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did.
Bump, beep, beep, bump.
Oh,
beep,
yes,
beep,
yes.
It was just like Boys in the Hood.
Okay, but you know what's funny is that I actually did not realize that until you just pointed it out.
Yeah, so I thought that was cool.
You're referring to the Eazy-E song Boys in the Hood, right?
Yeah,
like the beat to that. Okay, I did. Yep. Yeah, I did not realize that until you pointed that out.
Yeah, because I think the beat is similar, so they must have been like, you know what? Let's just throw on the Boys in the Hood sound.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a great album. Super uplifting, super fun, super accessible. And I think we talk about hip hop on here a lot. And sometimes, I mean, most of the times I usually try to make it a point by saying, okay, this is super violent, or this is super this or that or whatever. So watch out. This isn't like that at all.
No,
it's like, you're just going to really enjoy it. And I think, my favorite lyric on it was, they say you talk too much. Well, I say you walk.
Yeah, I say you walk too much. Yes,
I thought it was pretty smart. So
great.
Yeah, it was super fun. So I would say give it a shot, because there's no way you're not going to have a good time listening to it. So
I also have to say good on Sage Francis for giving, Kayleen this platform through his label. Like I think that says a lot about, somebody like Sage.
Oh yeah. It sounds like to me that if you, and you have seen them perform, that if you saw this, there's no way you wouldn't want to be supportive or think that they're working super hard to make this a reality, and
absolutely
harder than just about anyone else probably in their own way,
Yeah. So I mean, they're definitely uplifting. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Okay. So that brings us to the local, or I guess in this case, we'll say local-ish release this week. And
I love black local-ish.
I prefer the strawberry, but there's not enough strawberry.
Yeah. Sue them $5 million.
Yeah. So So this is from a band called Solar Flare Sunset. The name of the record is Patchwork Fantasy. Now, just to give a little bit of history. So the singer and guitar player, Ethan Everett, and then the bass player, Cole Mandel, both played in a band called Almost Perfect. And they were from Louisa, Muscatine, that area. And that band played right after my old band, Disgruntled Noisebox, at the Great River Days Battle of the Bands. Almost Perfect. And they were just literally like high school kids, I think, at that point, or maybe they were just out of high school. They blew me away with their musicianship. I got to say that every single member of that group were playing their instruments way better than I probably ever have, honestly, but particularly when I was 15 years old. I mean, it was pretty impressive. They've relocated to Denver, Colorado. They formed this new band called Solar Flare Sunset, which I actually think was formed here, actually, before they moved. If I'm not mistaken, I could be completely wrong about that. Basically, what this is just really catchy, I would say, rock tunes, like alternative rock. A lot of it reminds me of late 90s alternative rock. Some of it I could actually hear on the radio. I mean, just to, be perfectly honest, which is not a bad thing. The production is really, really good, I think. I mean, it's definitely clear sounding. You can hear the guitars, you can hear the bass and the drum. You can definitely tell they're a tight band. At times they kind of go into ballad territory and you'll hear things like piano. And I'm not sure if that's being played by them, though I wouldn't be surprised at all. But I would say the reference points that I would maybe compare them to would be like, I don't know, like the Foo Fighters, Soul Asylum. I would say, maybe even the Toadies a little bit, maybe a little bit of Nirvana. But I would also say a healthy respect paid to classic rock. Like, I mean, they do a Black Sabbath cover. They do a cover of War Pigs on here, and it's a really good cover as well. There is a lot of range in terms of like sort of the songwriting. They do a lot of tempo changes and things like that, but it's not anything like too wild or too crazy. However, they do embrace solos. Like Ethan's always been a really great guitar player. There is a lot of soloing that kind of goes on. There's even a little bit of maybe something like funk or even reggae influence thrown in, like particularly at the end of the song Green, where they go into this sort of like, I would almost say it's a reggae inspired jam. I wouldn't call it a reggae straight up, but I would say it definitely has elements of that. And it's sort of jammy. And it completely changes from the rest of the song. I do think that kind of stuff is very impressive. I mean, I think that I think it's done really well. Like, this is a record done by guys who are basically, I think they're just making the music they want to make. At least that's kind of what I get from it. I was trying to figure out, Ethan's voice in particular reminded me of somebody, and I was trying to think, gosh, who is this? Who does this remind me of? And then I kind of narrowed it down, and I want to give kind of a disclaimer that they do not sound like either of these bands, but the singers of these bands are kind of what Ethan's voice reminds me of. And that is like a combination of Thurston Moore and Jay Mascis in a way, like his voice. I wouldn't say that they may sound a little bit like later era Dinosaur Jr. at times, but definitely I would not compare them to Sonic Youth in any way whatsoever. But yeah, I just think it's really good songwriting, really good rock and roll. And if you're into that kind of thing, this is exactly what I think you're looking for. They're really, really cool guys, and I love the fact that they're doing it. So at the end of the day, I mean, I really do like this this record and band. What are your thoughts on this, Eric?
Yeah. So like I told you before we started, this is very much out of my wheelhouse.
Sure.
And I don't, to the point that I don't even actually know other bands that sound like it. I, again, like you said, I had Foo Fighters, Soundgarden a little bit,
Sure.
just because of the rock element of it. But yeah, a lot of it sounded like stuff that I'm not familiar with, but I know a lot of people are super familiar with. And it was more of like maybe stuff I've heard on like Rock 108. I would not be surprised if I heard this on the radio. Like you said, it's
right.
Really good songs, really nice playing throughout too, like really tight. It's funny though, because I do hear other things too. I think that what you said about classic rock, I was hearing sort of a Maiden / Thin Lizzy influence on the guitars with the twin guitar sound.
Sure.
Like, they do that a lot. And I think that's cool. I always like that sound. People soloing. Who else? The Scorpions do that a lot.
Sure.
Judas Priest.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think Thin Lizzy sort of started that. And the music is a little closer to what Thin Lizzy does than those other kind of heavy metal groups.
I could see that.
And I thought the bass player, they were a bass player after my own heart. Like, I love playing bass, and the reason is it's because you don't have to follow necessarily the root notes. You don't have to necessarily follow the rhythm. You can play along with the vocal melody if you feel like it. You can play along with the guitar melody if you feel like it. And the bass player definitely is working their way around the songs just to serve the song, to make it more interesting. Yeah. And so I don't know though. When you said the Toadies, I had actually had a similar thought, and Toadies are one of my favorite bands. They're very problematic. I can't get behind all the feelings and ideas that come across in the songs, but as far as musically and melodically, they are one of my favorites. And I definitely feel like there were moments in this record that had sort of the same kind of jump to it, like a little upbeat element to it. And I don't mean like happy, I mean just like a little bit of a pop. It just has a jump to it. And I thought that was great. I do think there's a lot of different instrumentation, and all of it's done really well. So yeah, I think it's a really cool record. I'm glad that they reached out, because I'm not saying this in a negative way, but I wouldn't have come across this on my own.
Right.
I just wouldn't have. And so it was nice to be able to hear that. So yeah,
sure.
Good stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then one other thing that I wanted to say about this record too, is that I know that we kind of both have sort of said, okay, this sounds like radio rock at times and whatnot, but I will say that this is actually a hell of a lot better than a lot of the stuff I hear on the radio, even.
For sure.
Like, I mean, a hell of a lot better. Like, I think the songs are really good. And this is also, having kind of heard Cole and Ethan's progression and evolution from when they were in Almost Perfect to like this band, this is probably the best I've ever heard them play, and that I've ever heard them write songs. Like, I think this is really, really good. So yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed that, Eric.
Yeah, for sure.
This is brings us to the scene report and shows coming up. Is there anything cool happening?
It's a pretty light week. I think that most everyone put their shows, kind of put their eggs in one basket, around Halloween. And that's cool. Yeah.
Shouldn't they be doing that on Easter instead though?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Man, we need an Easter horror movie. I don't know if there is.
Well, what about that rabbit and Donnie Darko?
Yeah. Oh man, I really like Donnie Darko.
Oh God, me too. It's such a great movie. I
liked it when it came out, and every time I've seen it since, I like it more, but in different ways. Anyway.
Yeah.
And I guess at the third segment of the Twilight Zone, the movie, there's kind of a scary rabbit that comes out of a hat.
Yeah, I saw that a long time ago, but I don't remember
it's pretty scary. But yeah, that's the rabbit report. That's all. Seriously, though, there's hardly anything happening. But the stuff that is happening is pretty rad. So Friday, the 5th, Radkey, the Many Colored Death, and Road Soda are performing at the Raccoon Motel in Davenport. And also, I'm only going to mention this because I don't know of very many horror rap shows that come to town. So I'm not sure if these support acts are local or not. But this is happening also Friday, the 5th, at the Octopus in Cedar Falls. Carnage the Executioner. It looks pretty cool. It's also with Des Damons, Antifo, Sterling Banks, and Luke McKenzie. Like I said, I don't know those people, but Carnage the Executioner looks kind of cool. So I don't know, if you're in Cedar Falls Friday night, might as well go to that.
Yeah, might as well.
Saturday the 6th, we have Sex Funeral. That's a band with Bob Bucko Jr. in it. That's happening at the Fremont in Des Moines. And then honestly, I don't have anything else until the 10th, which is a Wednesday. But it's going to be sick. It's Prevention, Dryad, PSYOP. That's going to be happening at Wild Culture Kombucha in Iowa City.
Cool.
I know, right? I'm going to totally go to that. I really want to. Yeah. I said that about last week's show, John Mueller and Claire Nunez. I was totally going to go to that.
Yeah.
It was really sad. I think it was one of those moments in your life that you just have to accept things as they are. I was actually in bed before the show even started.
Dude,
it sucked.
You're talking to a master of saying, okay, I think I'm going to try and come to this show. And then I never do. You already know that. You know that about me.
I do.
And it's not, I don't do it because I don't want to go to these shows.
Right.
It's because of things like that, because of adult situations.
Well, that's why I can't watch certain movies.
Exactly. It's like, I'm just like, one of three things are probably happening by the time the show has started. Number one, like you, I'm sleeping. Number two, some family member or something decided to just randomly visit me or, something like that. Or number three, I'm watching Looney Tunes. There's three things. One of three things. That's all it is.
Yeah.
God.
You're just way too into Looney Tunes.
Dude, Looney Tunes has consumed my life. I don't even know what to do anymore.
I just found an Instagram page for you then. It is called Looney Tunes Backgrounds. It's amazing.
Oh my God.
All it is like the paintings from the backgrounds.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's super sick. I watch another one that's really similar to that called Scooby-scapes, and it's the backgrounds of Scooby-Doo cartoons. They're like liminal spaces, sort of, but they're paintings. It's really good stuff. I don't know.
That's crazy. I've been following this Instagram page lately, Milo the cat. You ever heard of this one?
No.
So I don't know why it's called Milo the cat, because originally when you see like the photo, it looks like it's going to be like a cat's page. You know what I mean? Like somebody got a pet and they decided to start their own Instagram, like for their cat, Milo. My sister's actually done that. Her cat is all over Instagram. But anyway, no, what it is this guy takes 30 seconds segments of like 80s cartoons, 90s cartoons, Muppet shows, things like that. And then they mash it with rappers. Like rap songs. So, for example, one of my favorite ones on the entire station, it's like a little clip off of DuckTales. and they mesh it with like Notorious B.I.G. And so like they'll be like Uncle Scrooge as Notorious B.I.G. rapping. There's so many good ones. There's also another one. You know who Big L was?
No.
Big L was a rapper, and he was very, he died, but he was very vulgar, like extremely crazy. And there's one with Yogi Bear as Big L. Great. Anyway, sorry. When I get started on this.
No, that's okay.
No, seriously, I showed Jeff, the drummer of my band, like 10 of them. He had to tell me to just stop. Like, because I was seriously going to keep going if he wasn't going to. It's like, seriously, like they need to take the phone away from me at that point, like a kid who, has been watching MTV too long or something.
They need to set a timer for you.
Yeah, set a timer, and then they need to send me to the corner if like, like I'm misbehaving when I'm showing.
Dang, send you to the coroner. That seems like a really harsh response.
Oh, geez. Anyway, what were you going to say? Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say also, even though we will be on the Thursday after this, obviously the 11th, I wanted to say that there is a cool show on the 11th so that people could actually get their tickets too. So it's I believe a Feed Me Weird Things show, maybe not. Ton Nguyen is performing, and also Death Bag, which is Gabby Van Eck and Chris Wersema, and it's a tape release for them, and that's at Trumpet Blossom. So
cool.
I know that they've been doing mostly limited shows, and the Closet Witch one actually did sell out. So I would say get your ticket for that. So I didn't want to drop that on our listeners, the day of, because it might be
sure. Yeah.
So check that show out too.
Get it all ahead of time.
Yeah.
Your face still looks like it's exploding on my screen.
Jesus Christ. What did you just say?
Your face, it looks like it's exploding. Like, that suit with that big light.
Oh, my Zoom.
Your Zoom picture. Yeah.
Okay.
I was just checking on you. I wanted to make sure you're okay.
Wow. It looks like my face is exploding. That hasn't happened since I was a kid.
Anyway, folks, thank you for listening. And I would recommend, honestly, if you need any answers to anything, just watch Looney Tunes. It helps me.
Yeah. I like the old Looney Tunes. It's good.
Yeah, definitely good. I saw another one in space. So, yeah, they go all over the place. Those roosters and those coyotes and bunnies. Gosh. They're always like everywhere.
To live in a cartoon world, what a dream.
I know, it would be so fantastic. And I don't know what cartoon I'd want to live in, honestly. Like there's so many of them. Like, I don't know, The Simpsons seems like it would be interesting. Futurama seems like it'd be interesting.
Well, I'm a bit of a brony, so I'm going to go with My Little Pony. Big time.
Yeah, you're a brony for real?
No. I wish. Maybe I'll get into it though. It seems nice.
But you really do like is My Little Pony really what you would pick, Eric? Or are you tricking me again?
I'm a trickster.
Because I need to know for real
which cartoon I would live in.
Before we end this episode, I need to
which
know.
One I would live in or would like to visit.
Yes.
Because there's a difference.
Okay, well, live in. Let's start with
live in. All right, I'm thinking of cartoons. The Little Prince.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about visit?
Maybe like Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty would be interesting.
Yeah.
I think for me, live in would be the Ninja Turtles. Because I would love to live in that sewer. Because their sewers look like more habitable than real life sewers. Like, for real, they do. And then I think to visit, also the Ninja Turtles. Like, honestly, I want to visit the New York that's in the Ninja Turtles, and I want to live there, both of them.
Yeah, maybe the Little Prince is a little too boring to live in forever.
Well,
yeah, maybe I'll go with Ninja Turtles.
In the New York Ninja Turtles, it's so crazy to think about how often they would have to repair the city because it's like every episode, like everything gets destroyed.
Are there any cartoons where nothing really happens? Because that's where I would live. It's just like boring. Maybe like the Smurfs.
Yeah, the Smurfs seems like a nice little place.
I mean, you have to deal with Gargamel sometimes.
Yeah, but you always escape.
Man, I wish Fraggle Rock was a cartoon.
Fraggle Rock,
they're hard.
Yeah, definitely. Rock hard. You would live there rock hard.
Yeah, I'd be balls deep in Fraggle Rock.
God, there's so many things that we've said in the last 10 minutes that could be considered inappropriate.
Considered.
Yes, considered.
Well, I guess I got to keep trying.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Let's just say is. Is.
I need no doubt.
Speaking of the ises, you remember the Max?
The Max, yeah.
Okay. All right. The ises. Those white things with the teeth.
Yeah. I do sort of remember those.
Yep. I tried making one in art class. It didn't work out very well.
Did you use real teeth?
I just knocked somebody's out.
Because that could have helped, maybe.
Need to borrow this a second.
Yeah. Yoink.
And that's funny too, because art class is also where I discovered Big Black for the first time.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Somebody brought in a copy of Songs About Fucking.
Wow. Who was that?
Noah Kester.
Oh, geez. I mean, just kidding. Oh, I thought you said Chuck. I'm sorry. Yeah, Noah's great.
Chuck Moore, I think he's older than you, isn't he?
He's even older than your old ass. Yeah.
Well, no, old. I mean, I'm old too. Don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is that
he would not be in your class.
Yeah, he would not be.
Although he could have been there visiting a girlfriend or something.
Oh my gosh.
Shit.
God, you want help editing at all this week, Eric?
Oh no. I'm leaving all this in. Fuck Chuck Moore.
No. All right. Well, folks, you all have a good week.
Yeah.
And we will see you next week. All right.
Bye.
Goodbye.
And then you'll be fucking sorry.